So I was trolling around Facebook this morning and I was looking at some of the profiles of people that I know on the left who I really don't interact with much anymore, frankly, because they drive me absolutely insane. They drive me insane. But I was kind of looking at what was going on because I'm curious about what they're posting, what they're thinking, stuff like that. And here's obviously purely anecdotal evidence about what I observed. There are really two groups of people that I know that are on the left at this point. The first group are the loud, screeching manids that used to be sane people. They really did. They used to be lovely, sane, awesome people and have just gone off the cliff in their Trump derangement syndrome and have gotten way more extreme, way more loud, just do not understand nuance at all anymore, are the ones screeching and rioting. I even know one woman, I can't even believe she's this dumb, because she's not a dumb person. She just moved to Portland. Well, there's been 2 months of rioting. Moved to Portland. I just crossed my fingers for her that she didn't buy a house. I hope that they're renting because, to move to Portland now, your property values are going to crash into the toilet. That's just dumb. That's just dumb. But, these are also people she's literally married to someone who told me several months ago, he said, Carlin, Antifa is a peaceful folk and they just want to fight fascists and they're not mean. It's those white supremacists. They're the ones that are mean. And I was like, okay. So that's one side of the left. The people who've gone off the cliff, cannot see logic, cannot see reason, are completely deranged in their view of the world. And, I know it's fun to make fun of them, but I actually do feel bad. These are people I know in real life, have known for a very long time. Good people. I actually do believe they have good intentions, but have allowed themselves to descend into madness in their Trump derangement syndrome. So that's one group. But that's actually not the most important group. They're over shouting and yelling and making a fuss and all that. But the more important group is the second one. Because they're just being quiet. They're not talking about the election. They're not talking about riding with Biden. They're not talking about Trump. They're not talking about the rioting. They're not talking about the protests. They're not talking about anything. They've gone quiet. Now, if any of you have tuned into my conversations with Dr. Howard Asher, and I'm going to have another one tomorrow, that's going to be, I have to look at the calendar, August 6th, it's going to be Thursday, August 6th, on this channel in the afternoon. It's either 1 or 2 p.m. I apologize, I can't remember which one off the top of my head. I believe it's 1 p.m. is Eastern time that we're going to have the conversation. But in the last chat I had with Howard, we talked about how he's seeing a lot of patients. He's a psychotherapist out in the Los Angeles area, and he's seeing a lot of patients starting to wake up. And he said, the first thing that happens is they get quiet. They don't tell anyone they're waking up because they're scared. They're scared of the implications of it. And listen, I know as well as anyone what happens when you wake up and you say it out loud. You lose all your dang friends. You might even lose your job if you don't work for yourself like I do. And the majority of people that I looked at this morning that I'm still connected to on the left, they're not laughing, they're not shouting, they're not loud, they're not making a fuss, they're not posting insane memes. They've just gotten very quiet. I don't know. Let me know if you've noticed that too, because I think that that's really, really telling. They're just not saying anything. And so what I want to do, and I think that, we're seeing this play out across the broader reality, right? Barry Weiss of formerly now of the New York Times, a couple weeks ago, posted her open letter of resignation, calling out everything that is wrong with the New York Times. And now we have another one today, Ariana Picari, I'm sorry if I pronounced her name wrong, she posted an open letter as well about leaving her job as a producer at MSNBC. And so we're going to read this letter and I'm going to give you my additional thoughts and commentary on the situation. But before we dig into that, listen, we just have a couple of housekeeping issues, folks. Number one, I'm trying to grow the channel. I really, really, really want to hit 100,000 subscribers before Election Day. I think this is a completely doable thing. I'm absolutely on track to do it, but I need your help. If you watched maybe a couple videos of mine now thinking about subscribing, dude, come on, it's time. Hit subscribe, turn on those notifications, give the video a thumbs up, all that good stuff. It really does help me out. Now, the other thing you can do if you want to help me out is you can become a monthly patron on Subscribestar, not Patreon, because Patreon's about to get screwed back into the Stone Age. But Subscribestar is good, man. And what I love about Subscribestar is it provides regular monthly income that I can rely on, that I can count on, so that I can free up my time from doing my day job to create more content for you, get better at what I'm doing, all that good stuff. So definitely look at Subscribestar. And one of the benefits at any level on Subscribestar is that you get a shout out from me in one of my videos. So today I've got a whole bunch of shout outs to give because I haven't done Subscribestar shout outs in a minute. I have 6 different shout outs. I want to say thank you to I'm going to call you Vivi because I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but I appreciate you. Thank you to Rick, Ralph, Andrew, Kim, and Sean. I very much appreciate your support. I'm super grateful, and I couldn't do it without you. All right, let's get into this open letter, personal news, why I'm now leaving MSNBC. And she has an image here that says, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. Just quit." That's the advice Alec gave a year and a half ago when I expressed concerns about my job. Just quit. It's that simple. Stay at MSNBC until the midterms, Jeffrey said a couple years back. He advised to watch and see what happens. Hang in there. You're needed, Elizabeth recommended last winter. I was in your shoes when I was younger, but I stuck it out. A year and a half ago, simply quitting my job without knowing my next step sounded pretty radical, so I stuck it out a bit longer until we were in the middle of a pandemic to make a truly radical move. July 24th was my last day at MSNBC. I don't know what I'm going to do next exactly, but I simply couldn't stay there anymore. My colleagues are very smart people with good intentions. The problem is the job itself. It forces skilled journalists to make bad decisions on a daily basis. So I want to pause here and I want to just talk about when you have that feeling that you need to quit your job. You need to follow that instinct. And I know it's scary, especially right now. It can be very scary to say, you know what, I just don't belong here anymore. But trust me, I've done this a while now. I've coached a lot of people through quitting toxic jobs, getting fired from toxic jobs, and then going in the job market and then finding a new job. If you take that leap, if you do what's best for you, you are going to find something better. It always works out. I have literally never seen this not work out. Now, that's not to say that people can't shoot themselves in the foot. If you quit your job and then you get, you kind of like psych yourself out, you're like, no one's ever going to hire me. I'm never going to have a good job again. And you just sit in your bedroom and cry all day. No, you're probably not going to get another job. But if you quit your job and you use that time to work on yourself, to develop a plan, to strategically go after jobs that are going to be much better fits for you, you can get a job right now. It is not impossible, and your mental health is going to thank you for it. I mean, listen, man, we get physically sick when there's negative stuff going on up here. It's called general adaptation syndrome. We get physically sick when our brain is under stress, and one of the scary parts of that is that we don't necessarily know what physical illness is going to manifest. So if you're going into a place every single day that you absolutely hate, can't stand for whatever reason, listen to that instinct and just quit. I love that she put that at the beginning of the open letter. Just quit. You're competent, you're capable, you've gotten jobs before, you can find another job. It is not the end of the world. It's just a job. Let's keep going. You may not watch MSNBC, but just know the problem still affects you too. All the commercial networks function the same, and no doubt the content seeps into your social media feed one way or the other. It's possible that I'm more sensitive to the editorial process due to my background in public radio, where no decision I ever witnessed was predicated on how a topic or guest would rate. Now, I worked at public radio too. I did not work on the content side like I think she obviously did. And I would agree that decisions were not made over ratings or how a guest would rate. I absolutely agree with that, but certainly there was something to be said about fundraising. And I don't say that not from the editorial side, not from the people who are producing the content, but from the people running the station. Oh yeah, they were thinking about it. Let's keep going. The longer I was at MSNBC, the more I saw such choices. It's practically baked into the editorial process, and these decisions affect news content every day. Likewise, it's taboo to discuss how the rating scheme distorts content, or it's simply taken for granted because everyone in the commercial broadcast industry is doing the same thing. But behind closed doors, industry leaders will admit the damage that's being done. Well, fine, that's fine, well and good, but they need to start actually speaking out loud because, listen, so I got into an argument the other day with someone that I've done a lot of work with, that I've partnered with very regularly on different projects, and, they were mad that I've become public with the politics stuff, and they're like, "Girl, I can't put you in front of clients, I can't do this, I can't do that." Basically because I'm doing this content stuff, and I said, listen, I actually care about people being impacted by this anti-racist training nonsense. I actually care about the detriment that this is going to have on organizations. I actually care about the human lives that are going to be impacted by this. I get letters from people, I get emails every single day saying things like, "I thought I was a racist because I went through anti-racist training until I saw your video on white fragility." I get letters like that. I can't not do things like this because I genuinely do care about the impact of this on people. He didn't. And that really ticked me off, to be honest. What he cared about was making money, essentially, having a successful business. And however he got to that successful business, well, reality be damned, it didn't matter. What he wanted to do was make money. And this is exactly the same thing. I'm sorry, people like this have absolutely no integrity. And when people show you that they don't have integrity and they're not interested in understanding the human impact and they're not interested in doing the right thing, even when it is hard, this stuff just pisses me off so much. If we aren't taking care of each other as human beings, if we aren't watching out for each other, then we're all going to suffer the same fate. If you don't watch out for other people in your life, don't expect them ever to watch out for you. Don't expect them to ever have your back. And if you're saying that we know the news industry is broken and we know the detrimental impact it's having on society, and you stay quiet and you do nothing and you keep feeding into it, you don't get absolution from me on that. You need to speak up. Let's keep going. "We are a cancer, and there is no cure," a successful and insightful TV veteran said to me. "But if you could find a cure, it would change the world." As it is, the Cancer Strokes National Division, even in the middle of a civil rights crisis, the model blocks diversity of thought and content because the networks have incentive to amplify fringe voices and events at the expense of others, all because it pumps up the ratings. I've been in arguments with the socialists on Twitter, and when I say socialists, I'm not exaggerating, I literally mean socialists, on Twitter, because my PragerU video came out and Vosh did that stupid response video, and I've been talking with Shoe on Head now, and she's actually going to come on my channel next week, and she and I are going to have a civil conversation about why I left the left. But the reason I'm getting in arguments with socialists on Twitter is because they're saying, "Oh, the PragerU video makes it seem like you just left because they were mean to you." And of course, that's not the case. That's not a nuanced view of what happened. The point of the PragerU video was to not vilify people who disagree with you, was to see them as human beings. That was the point of the video. We had 5 minutes to work with. That was the point. That was the message that was supposed to be articulated. And when people willfully distort that message, this is saying that we are like a cancer. That's what this is. It's willful distortion. We need to start bringing nuance back into the conversation. This extreme of everyone who disagrees with me is evil, that is the problem. We cannot even have rational conversations anymore. I truly hope, and I've DM'd with her a little bit, I think that she was smart. I think she's smarter than she comes across on Twitter, at least to me. But I think, I've seen a little bit of her stuff. I think that she's smart. I think that she has good intentions. I think we're going to be able to have a rational conversation about this that is not just, "Well, you thought the left was mean to you and that's why you left," because that's not the case. And every single time we drill down something like that into the most simplistic possible interpretation and then act like that's the truth, that is the problem. The cancer risks human lives, even in the middle of a pandemic. The primary focus quickly became what Donald Trump was doing poorly to address the crisis, rather than the science itself. As new details became available about antibodies, a vaccine, and how COVID actually spreads, producers still wanted to focus on politics. Important facts or studies get buried. See, this right here, this is a person with integrity to say that there's more going on here than you're reporting, and you are spinning people up and creating more problems. This cancer risks our democracy. Even in the middle of a presidential election, any discussion about the election usually focuses on Donald Trump, not Joe Biden, a repeat offense from 2016. Trump smothers out all other coverage. Also important is to ensure citizens can vote by mail this year, but I've watched that topic get ignored or killed numerous times. I want to make a point about this. Joshua and I talk about this on our Tuesday night show, Nothing Remotely Controversial, quite a bit. Joshua's position is that Donald Trump won the 2016 election because he was the thing that they were covering. He was what all the stories were about. All the attention were on him. All the eyes were on him. He was getting all the coverage. Now, it does not matter if it's good or bad. That is immaterial. The important thing is that all of the energy was coming at him and not at Hillary Clinton, because the media lost their minds. And guess what? They're doing it again. And by the way, in the process of doing that again and focusing all the attention on Orange Man bad, Orange Man bad, Orange Man bad all the time, Orange Man bad all the time, have I made my point? When they're doing that, they're abdicating their responsibility for investigating what is going on with Joe Biden. Now, I understand that most of the media wants Joe Biden to win. I get it. But they are abdicating their responsibility as journalists to vet a presidential candidate because they have Trump derangement syndrome. It is irresponsible, downright. Context and factual data are often considered too cumbersome for the audience. So what she's saying is that MSNBC thinks you're stupid, and, I watched a lot of MSNBC. I still do watch MSNBC every once in a while, but I was watching MSNBC almost exclusively all day, every day, and yeah, they think you're stupid, and they make you stupid. They really, really do. I mean, the fact, listen, I want to be vulnerable for a second. I became stupid by watching too much MSNBC. I stopped questioning things. I stopped looking into things. I'm like a smart person. I think I'm a smart person. I'm pretty sure. I do my research on things when I'm focused on it. When I had MSNBC on in the background all day, I wasn't focused on fact checking that. I was doing other things. And so I just became stupid as it was related to the stories that they were covering, because I trusted them to tell me the truth. God knows why I made that decision, but I did. Let's keep going. There may be some truth to that. Our education, actually, I'm going to start at the beginning of the paragraph. Contextual and factual data are often considered too cumbersome for the audience. There may be some truth to that. Our education system really should improve the critical thinking skills of Americans. But another hard truth is that the job of journalists is to teach and inform, which means they might need to figure out a better way to do that. They could contemplate more creative methods for captivating an audience. Just about anything would improve the current process, which can be pretty rudimentary. Think basing today's content on whatever rated well yesterday, or look to see what's trending online today. I have had so many pieces written about me, even going back before the Trump article, to be honest. I've had so many pieces where the journalists were talking about me in major publications, where they didn't bother to reach out to me for a comment. They didn't bother to find the truth. They dug up something on the internet. They took it out of context. They flat out lied, and they put it in their story because they didn't bother to reach out and actually find out the truth, or even ask questions about what was going on. And I'll tell you what, man, when the media does that to you, and they print blatant lies, and you know that you have never had someone reach out to you. And listen, I'm not hard to get in touch with. You know that you've never had someone reach out to you to even ask the question or ask for your side of the story. There is no greater red pill than having the media straight lie about you. It is insane. Occasionally, the producers will choose to do a topic or story without regard for how they think it will rate, but that is the exception, not the rule. Due to the simple structures of the industry, the desire to charge more money for commercials as well as ratings bonuses that top-tier decision makers earn, they always relapse into the old profitable programming habits. I understand that the journalistic process is largely subjective and any groups of individuals may justify a different set of priorities on any given day. Therefore, it's particularly notable to me, for one, that nearly every rundown at the network basically is the same hour after hour, and two, they use the subjective nature of the news to justify economically beneficial decisions. I've even heard producers deny their role as journalists. A very capable senior producer once said, "Our viewers don't really consider us the news. They come to us for comfort." I wonder if that was true to this extent prior to the 2016 election. I'm sure it probably was, but I wonder how much worse it's gotten since 2016. And if you have any insight into that, please leave a comment. That's a legit question. I don't have the answer to it. Again, personally, I don't think that people need to change. I think the job itself needs to change. There is a better way to do this. I'm not so cynical to think that we are absolutely doomed, though we are on that path. I know we can find a cure. If we can figure out how to send a man to the moon, if Alex Trebek can defy the odds of stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and if Harry Reid can actually overcome pancreatic cancer, he's now cancer-free, then we can fix this too. Well, yes, can we fix it? Yes, absolutely. Is there the will to fix it? I mean, listen, man, this producer is talking about having the will to fix something, but she just quit her job at MSNBC. Barry Weiss talks about everything that's wrong at the New York Times in her letter leaving her job at the New York Times. Do I think that we can fix it? Of course we can fix it. We could fix it in an instant if we wanted to. The problem is not that we can't. The problem is that people do not have the will. We have become addicted to this outrage machine that is the media. I said this was going to be a problem as soon as Donald Trump got elected. Even when I had Trump derangement syndrome, even when I was upset, I said from the very beginning, this is going to be hard to overcome because we're going to get addicted to the insanity that is Donald Trump. And I absolutely believe that's the case. I don't think we're coming back from this. I think it's just going to get worse and worse and worse because you do not have people in decision-making positions that are willing to do the right thing. They want to keep feeding into it. And if you don't have the will to change something, it doesn't matter if you have the skill set to do it. But everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. I know James Baldwin wasn't thinking about MSNBC when he wrote that line in 1962, but these words spoke loudly to me in the summer of 2020. Unfortunately, many of the same ailments are still at stake today. Now, maybe we can't really change the inherently broken structure of broadcast news, but I know for certain that it won't change unless we actually face it in public and at least try to change it. Through this pandemic and the surreal, alienating lockdown, I've witnessed many people question their lives and what they're going to do with their time on this planet. I reckon I'm one of those people looking for greater meaning and truth. As much as I love my life in New York City and really don't want to leave, I feel fortunate to be able to return to Virginia in the near term to reconnect with family and friends and community of independent journalists. I'm both nervous and excited about this change. Thanks to COVID-19, I'm learning to live with uncertainty. And listen, man, COVID for a lot of people has been a gift. It really has. I know it doesn't seem it when you're losing your job or you're scared of losing your job or you're quitting your job or you can't go outside or you have to work from home and kids aren't going to school. I know it doesn't seem like a gift, but it really is. Every single thing can be used to our most advantageous position, okay? You can use anything to your benefit, but you have to believe that it's available to you to use it for your benefit. Listen, man, I'll be honest. If it wasn't for COVID, I probably wouldn't have this YouTube channel. I would not have been able to free up my time to make as much content as I'm making. Or, I mean, maybe I'd have a channel, but maybe it'd be in a completely different form. And I feel very blessed that I have this time. I had work for my business booked up through basically the end of the year. I was supposed to be able to pay for my whole business in the month of June alone, and the amount of business I had already booked up for Zen Workplace, and then everything changed. And I lost business, and a lot of it got postponed until next year because a lot of it involves in-person work and stuff like that. But I feel very blessed every single day that this happened. Now, was it inconvenient for me? Of course, dude. You guys have been hearing me complain about this for months. But really, at the end of the day, it freed me up. It gave me time. It allowed me more space to work on this stuff. I've been able to connect with you guys more, produce more content, talk to more interesting people. And this channel is now actually getting to a place where it is a financially viable option for me. Even though I can still do my business, I'm now reformatting my business to only focus specifically in on the stuff that I really love doing. Because spoiler alert for folks, when you own your own business, you're not always doing stuff that you love doing. I had to take on work that I hated, that drove me crazy. And now because of this channel, because of your support, I'm able to really focus in, only do exactly the type of work I want to do, and can spend the rest of my time with you guys. So I feel very blessed by COVID, and I was terrified at first. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but it's all worked out, and it's all going to work out for her too. She may not know that yet. She may feel really scared, but she took the leap. She took that first step. It's all going to work out. Let's finish up. And so very soon, I'm going to be speaking out. Any one of you who may sense that the news is fundamentally flawed and is frustrated by it, I might reach out to her and try to get her on this channel. This effort will start informally, but I do hope to crystallize a plan for when better, safer days are upon us. On that front, feel free to reach out anytime if you'd like to discuss any of this. Whether in agreement or not, more than ever, I'm craving a full and civil discourse. Oh my God, I need to meet this woman. I do. Ariana, I'm going to be sending you an email, okay? Until next time, thanks for reading. I wish you all well. Good for her, man. Look at this. 261,000 views, 135 comments, 1,000 hearts. I mean, good for her, man. She did the right thing. And listen, I'm sure she was terrified to do it. I'm sure that it wasn't the most comfortable thing, but this is the first step. If we're actually going to fix this problem, this is the first step. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. We need to start facing this problem. And frankly, this is not about people like me or anyone on YouTube doing this sort of stuff. This is about people who are in decision-making positions in major media. You need to start facing this. I don't care if you don't like Donald Trump. I do not care. The damage that the media is doing in this country right now is significantly worse than what Donald Trump is doing. So you want him to lose re-election? Fine. Get your shit in order after the election, no matter what happens. Either way. Because what I'm scared of more than anything is that I think Trump's going to win in November. I always have. I don't believe the polls at all. I still think he's going to win. What I'm scared of is that the SJWs are going to double down. Because they always double down. So don't double down, media. Regardless of what happens in November, get through the election, try to shill for your candidate as much as you want, but regardless of the outcome, get your act together because you are the ones that are destroying this country.